Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
Why wait for Black Friday? Blink Friday starts now with up to 65% off Blink Smart Security. Check on your pets all season long with new Blink Mini 2K Plus plug-in cameras. See your gifts arrive in head-to-toe view with Blink Video Doorbell. Ready to use right out of the box. Just unwrap Blink and go. Pet setters to busy families. Blink Friday deals have your holidays covered. Tap the banner to save now.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noah Layden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noah
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 25th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sun and clouds this morning. Showers this afternoon. High 54. Tonight and overnight rain, low 53. And then Wednesday we'll have rain in the morning. Clouds in the afternoon. It'll be mild, though. The high 62. If you're walking out the door with us right now, 42 cloudy in Babylon out on Long Island. It's 34 and cloudy in Woodridge over in New Jersey. And it's 38 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
James Comey, Tish James resting a little easier today. Some unwelcome surprises found in a new box of 9/11 documents. Mayor-elect Mamdani asks a WABC host for help. A porch pirate network is broken up on Long Island. And the lights switched on for an old holiday favorite we thought was never coming back. All right, let's get into it at 5:01. Former FBI Director James Comey, New York Attorney General Letitia James reacting to the news that their federal cases have been tossed. Comey releasing a video last night saying President Trump can't use the Justice Department to target his political enemies.
I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude is going to be the same. I'm innocent. I am not afraid, and I believe in an independent federal judiciary.
Comey says the case against him was a prosecution based on incompetence. James, she issued a statement saying she's heartened by the victory, once again called the charges baseless. She was indicted for alleged mortgage fraud. Comey was indicted for allegedly lying to Congress about the Trump-Russia investigation. Both claim the appointment of Trump's former personal lawyer, Lindsay Halligan, as the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District was unlawful.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence. I was very lucky that some of the best lawyers in America stepped forward to represent me. I hope they serve as an example to more and more lawyers, especially at some of the big firms, to participate in protecting our liberty, protecting the rule of law.
And Comey says having the case tossed out by a judge is a watershed moment.
This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies.
But it's likely not over for Comey or Tish James. Attorney General Pam Bondi, having her own press conference yesterday, says she'll appeal after the criminal indictments against James and Comey were tossed.
We'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct. I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime. His alleged actions were a betrayal of public trust.
And Bondi says she has faith in Lindsay Halligan as U.S. attorney.
We have made Lindsay Halligan a special U.S. attorney, so she is in court. She can fight in court just like she was, and we believe we will be successful.
WABC News Time 503. While we're down in D.C., President Trump yesterday signing an executive order that would allow his administration to designate certain chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization.
The order gives direction to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to figure out if any chapters should receive the designation. This move would allow for increased sanctions as well as more power to disrupt financial support. A White House fact sheet on the order said that the goal of it was to eliminate the designated chapter's capabilities and operations and then to deprive them of resources. I'm Mark Mayfield.
We'll go ahead and bring it back home, go out to Newark, New Jersey, where neighbors last night had a memorial service for 19-year-old Massey Rogers. He was one of the people shot in that mass shooting that took place on November 5th on Chancellor Avenue, downtown Newark. It took the life of a young mom, a 21-year-old mom, a 10-year-old boy, and this 19-year-old, he had been shot that night as well, and he succumbed to his injuries and passed away. So last night, they gathered in Newark to remember him.
Stop the violence! Stop the violence! Stop the killing! Stop the killing! Let no more harm, hurt, or danger come to this family, Lord.
Prosecutors offering a $10,000 reward for information that leads to those responsible. So the dead, 10-year-old Jordan Garcia, his 11-year-old brother still recovering, Kia May Scott, she was the 21-year-old mom who leaves behind a 3-year-old son, and there's a 60-year-old man who is still recovering from his bullet wounds. Now, Massey Roger, his former coachers, they were at this memorial yesterday consoling friends and former teammates on the field where they once played football together.
I didn't expect nothing like this at all. Nothing like this. Too respectful and is a good person. Very good person.
He always had a good spirit, always had a good heart, and this is really a tragedy.
Yeah, Roger's former teacher, his name is Bashir Akalani, has experienced this before. He says he's lost more than 50 former students to gun violence over the last 25 years. That's outrageous.
What's going through my mind is outrage. You know, we lost another young brother to violence in the streets, senseless community violence. You know, although data is saying that, you know, homicides are down by 50%, but when you lose a loved one, you know, the data don't mean anything.
Now, here we are. This happened on the 15th, 10 days later. We still do not know who the gunmen are. There have been no arrests. We still don't know a motive for the shooting. We do see in the video it looks to be 3 men firing at a street corner. All these people seem to be innocent, not connected to any crimes. We're waiting for another update from prosecutors in Essex County. 5:06, back here in the city, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani naming more than 400 people to his transition team.
Mamdani says his appointees to 17 transition committees come from all walks of life and backgrounds. The committee includes the usual ones, such as housing, transportation, community safety, and government operations. But the incoming Democratic Socialist is adding 2 new ones, worker justice and community organizing. Mamdani also says transition members will advise on job hires and policy that help further his affordability agenda starting on day 1.
WABC News Time 5:08. A homeless man has been charged now with murdering his elderly Washington Heights roommate. 80-year-old Lev Vayner had taken pity on Alon Ryabuchev, who was a 45-year-old neighbor who had been sleeping in the hallways of their overlooked terrace building for weeks after his mother had kicked him out of her apartment.
I said that this is a bad idea because, you should really, make referrals, to shelter.
That was the victim's nephew who said the family was opposed to Vayner inviting the man to move in. That was Thursday. 3 days later, Vayner's kindness apparently has cost him his life. The NYPD says Ryabuchev called 911 on Monday, said he had had a mental breakdown and that he had stabbed his roommate to death. Police say that he was there with his bloody knife at the scene when they arrived there early Monday morning. 5:09, Portland Trail Blazers head coach coach basketball Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups pleading not guilty in a Brooklyn courtroom yesterday in his federal case involving rigged poker games.
Billups appeared in a New York federal courtroom today. He's accused of using his well-known name to lure players into rigged poker game tables and then cheat those players by using X-ray machines and tampered shuffling machines. The games were allegedly paid for by the mafia. Billups is charged with fraud and money laundering conspiracy. I'm Monica Nelson.
Okay, they're telling us this Thanksgiving travel season could be the busiest ever. I feel like almost every year they tell us that, but correspondent Ryan Chandler reports that the weather and other things could complicate the trips for people, especially flying from airports.
Today it's Dallas, Little Rock, Houston, Memphis. Tomorrow into Wednesday, as people really start to pick up their travel, we could see similar delays at places like Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta, even up to New York and D.C.
AAA estimates 82 million will travel over the holidays. That's up 2% from last year. Meanwhile, the FAA says it's expecting the busiest Thanksgiving air travel season in 15 years.
They're hitting the roads. The highways are also going to be busier than usual, later in the day than usual. So the rule of thumb as we all try to get home safe and sane for Thanksgiving dinner is to make alternate plans and leave early.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he expects the busiest Thanksgiving record on record, too.
We're going to have a busy road, rail, and air as we come into this Thanksgiving season.
And Duffy yesterday raising some eyebrows when he suggested that flyers dress appropriately, saying proper attire makes people behave better at airports. Here, I'll let him explain.
We have to think about how do we do a better job? How do we, maintain maybe some of that frustration we have as we travel this Thanksgiving season? Maybe we should say please and thank you to our pilots and to our
that's true.
To our flight attendants.
Yeah, I'm always surprised. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, but I'd always surprised when people show up at the airport in their pajamas, but plenty of people do.
In regard to air travel, this is going to be the busiest Thanksgiving that we have on record.
Polar vortex, though, is expected to bring cooler temperatures right here to New York on the Thanksgiving holiday.
That includes northern parts of the Pacific Northwest, the Great Plains, parts of Texas, and the interior mid-Atlantic. It comes as millions of Americans are set to hit the road for the holiday weekend. AAA estimates that nearly 82 million people will be traveling over the holiday, which is up 2% from last year. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Yeah, so today it's going to rain. It's going to be warm, a high of 62 tomorrow, but then more seasonable fall-like, early, almost winter-like weather temperatures for the parade. It'll be in the 40s, but sunshine, so that's the good news. 5:12, and as you think about traveling to see your family and friends for the long holiday weekend, be aware that there are rising concerns that the flu is spreading earlier than usual in some parts of the country right now. Isn't that lovely?
Some infectious disease specialists have already noted a sharp increase in flu cases over the past few weeks as a form of the virus called H3N2 subclade K has set off massive outbreaks in Canada and the UK. The CDC says the majority of flu circulating so far this season in the U.S. is the H3N2 strain, which can cause more hospitalizations and deaths in older adults. The concerns come as millions of Americans prepare to travel and gather for the Thanksgiving and other upcoming holidays. I'm Jim Roop.
And not too late, by the way, they say, to get that flu shot. 5:13, the woman who was 12 years old when she stabbed a girl nearly to death, hoping to appease the fictional Slender Man character, is expected to be extradited back to Wisconsin after being apprehended in Illinois. Village of Posen police chief says Morgan Geiser was taken into custody without incident over the weekend.
She simply told the officer, here's my real name. You can Google me and you'll find out who I am.
Yeah, Geiser was placed in a mental institution after the 2014 attack, but a judge earlier this year approved her conditional release to a group home. She apparently cut off a monitoring bracelet, left the facility in Wisconsin over the weekend, and now the attorney there is pushing to see a motion that files to revoke any sort of future conditional releases, maybe putting her behind bars instead of in a group home. 5:13, let's go overseas. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says a tremendous amount of progress continues to be made in these talks to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, Rubio was in Geneva over the weekend, speaking exclusively with the Ukrainian side. Here's correspondent Richard Eng.
Russia so far isn't taking part in the Switzerland talks, which appear mainly to be putting pressure on Ukraine. Secretary Rubio suggested a deal may not come together by Thanksgiving, the president's preferred deadline.
Yeah, they're telling us no way it's going to happen by then. But Ukrainian President Zelensky, he told the Swedish parliament on Monday that the biggest problem with this proposed U.S. peace plan is land. Russia wants to hold on to land it is occupied in Ukraine. It also wants Ukraine to limit the size of its military. Both things, they say, are no-go.
President Trump was asked this weekend what would happen if Zelensky doesn't agree by then.
Then he can continue to fight his little heart out.
Trump posting on social media that Ukraine leadership has expressed zero gratitude for our efforts.
All right, but they do say the two sides are still talking, so that's a positive sign. In a moment, we'll go to Nigeria. Maybe you've been following the story, or maybe you haven't heard about it at all. But 300 children were abducted by gunmen late last week. We'll give you the latest on that story. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Good morning to you, Noam Layden. We'll start out here in Brooklyn. Karl Anthony Towns had 37 points and 12 rebounds. Jalen Brunson scored 27, and the Knicks beat the Nets 113-100 at the Barclays Center. Towns shot 14 for 20 from the field and made each of his 6 free throws to lead the Knicks to their 12th consecutive victory over Brooklyn. New York's last loss to the Nets was January 28th of 2023. Mikal Bridges finished with 16 points, and Jordan Clarkson added 12 off the bench for the Knicks. New York shot 45 for 88 from the field, while limiting Brooklyn to 33 for 87 shooting. Noah Clowney scored a career-high 31 points, and Michael Porter Jr. had 16 for Brooklyn, who are 0-8 at Barclays Center this season. Up next for the Knicks, they'll be in Charlotte tomorrow night, while the Nets are off until Friday when they're set to host Philadelphia. Led to the ice at the Garden, Alexis Lafreniere scored the go-ahead goal early in the third period, and Igor Shesterkin made 19 saves as the Rangers snapped a 4-game skid with a 3-2 win over the St. Louis Blues. Vincent Trocheck and Adam Edstrom also scored for the Rangers, who won for just the second time in 10 home games. New York is 2-7-1 at MSG. Vladislav Gavrikov and Adam Fox each had 2 assists. The Rangers, who played without injured captain JT Miller for the second straight game, are still last in the Metropolitan Division. Up next for them, they'll play at Carolina tomorrow night. In Jersey, Nico Hischier, Timo Meyer, and Connor Brown had a goal and an assist each, and the Devils beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-3 in a matchup of 2 of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. New Jersey scored 3 goals in the first period on just 8 shots for a 3-1 lead after 1. Snapped a 3-game losing streak and got its first win in regulation since beating the LA Kings 4-1 on November 1st. The Devils' previous 4 wins occurred in either overtime or a shootout. Jacob Markstrom made 32 saves, 13 in the third period. Up next for the Devs, they'll host the aforementioned Blues tomorrow night. And NFL Week 12, it did wrap up last night with Monday Night Football in San Francisco. It was the 49ers beating the Panthers 20-9. San Francisco leaves Monday Night Football 8-4 now. Carolina exits San Francisco at an even 6-6. That is your sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:19. We've been watching the story over the last couple of years where Christians in Nigeria have been murdered just for being that, just for being Christians. It's not clear if this story is 100% related to that, but 50 of 300 children who were abducted by gunmen at a private Catholic school in Nigeria did escape over the weekend. It's the St. Mary's School. People connected to the school are happy some of these students were able to get away. It's not clear how they were able to get away. They're being reunited with their families now.
We count it as a sigh of relief for us, because the number has reduced.
The students who were taken range in age from 10 to 18 years old. It's unclear how the escape occurred, where the remaining children and dozens of teachers are who are kidnapped are being held today.
We should all have rallied together as a nation and say never will anyone touch our children, and we will not go after them. That was numb and so heartbroken.
Now, these kids who are at this Catholic school, they call them economically disadvantaged children. And for some reason in Nigeria, these are usually the kids that are targeted by these kidnappers.
Their parents don't read the authority for the government to be able to react as much as it would if it was, children of the more economically advantaged families that were taken away.
Sorry to me to step on her, but those are officials from the school. So nobody has claimed responsibility for the kidnapping, but the thought is, and this is just hearing from groups inside Nigeria, that these are people who are looking for money. They're looking for some sort of exchange for kidnapping for money. But of course, it's not clear exactly 100% what's going on. But we do know is a number of those teachers and kids are still being held this morning. 521, President Trump launching a new government effort to boost U.S. research in AI here.
Trump has signed off on what's called the Genesis mission, a plan to expand resources to fuel scientific discovery, secure energy dominance, and enhance workplace productivity. The order compared the Genesis mission to the Manhattan Project, which developed America's first nuclear weapons. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
The Department of War says it has opened a thorough review now into allegations of misconduct by Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly.
The agency said it received serious allegations of misconduct against the retired Navy captain. It's unclear what those claims are, but it comes after Kelly and other Democratic lawmakers were featured in a viral video urging service members to refuse unlawful orders. The department said Kelly could be recalled to active duty for court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. President Trump has called for the lawmakers involved in the video to be punished. Kelly said in a post on X that, quote, "If this is meant to intimidate me and other members of Congress from doing our jobs and holding this administration accountable, it won't work." I'm Chris Coraggio.
522, let's go down to Texas, where state troopers will now have some immigration authority when they pull over a driver. It's part of a new agreement with ICE and conservative activists in the Lone Star State.
Our laws should ensure every tool available is used to enforce immigration laws and remove criminal aliens from our communities.
Chris Russo, he heads the group Texas for Strong Borders, says that voters have sent a clear message that this is what they expect when someone's pulled over, and if they're illegal, I should be notified.
It's essential to strengthening interior immigration enforcement, especially after more than 10 million illegal aliens have entered the United States over the past 4 years.
And while we're down in Texas, the Sham Wow guy, remember him? He was the infomercial guy. He's running for Congress in Texas, but experts are not giving Vincent Shalomi, that's his name, much of a chance at winning there.
People who sort of parachute in and file to run for office are very rarely successful.
That's a political analyst from SMU, says the other candidates running for the suburban Austin district have deeper ties to the community. Shalomi rose to fame for his commercials. He sold, among other things, a kitchen tool that was called the Slap Chop. You remember those? They looked like a kind of a cool kitchen tool. The 61-year-old, though, does have some issues. He was arrested for punching a prostitute in a Miami hotel room.
I think a late-night pitchman doesn't count as already well known.
Yeah, so this is a shot in the dark for him.
A hope that voters in the Republican primary might find the incumbent to be too old at 84.
Yeah, so not clear who would win that district. 523. U.S. Postal Service announcing plans that they'll raise shipping prices in the new year.
USPS filed a notice with the Postal Regulatory Commission for the adjustment, and now customers can expect a 6.6% increase for Priority Mail, 5.1% for Priority Mail Express, 7.8% for USPS Ground Advantage, and 6% for Parcel Select. The adjustments have been approved by the Board of Governors and will take effect January 18th. USPS said shipping service prices are set by market conditions, unlike mailing service prices, which are determined by the Consumer Price Index. I'm Monica Nelson.
WABC News Time 524. An elephant at the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, D.C. is pregnant. This is apparently big news. Correspondent Ryan Nobles has more.
This is significant because it is the first time in 25 years that an elephant has been pregnant at the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, D.C. And they are very confident that this baby will be born healthy sometime this winter.
Okay, so the news is big because there are fewer than 50,000 Asian elephants left in the world, and so they're an endangered species. So anytime they can birth new ones, a big deal. Zoo officials are monitoring this 12-year-old elephant whose name is Neelan.
It will mark a huge accomplishment for the conservation effort of Asian elephants across the world. They are still endangered. They estimate somewhere in the range of 50,000 elephants living across the world. The Smithsonian National Zoo is very excited for this baby to be born. The big difference is while it is easy to take the full picture of a human fetus, this fetus could be 175 pounds, meaning they only get small slices of the full picture.
Yeah, they're giving the elephant ultrasounds pretty often.
They're closely monitoring the baby's progress. They give Neilin an ultrasound, much like the ultrasound that human moms get on a regular basis. It is quite the process to get her to the point where she's comfortable going through the ultrasound.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. 5:26 while we're talking animals. 2 turkeys will be pardoned by President Trump in the Rose Garden later today. Butterball President J. John Drain says the birds, whose names are Gobble and Waddle, were staying overnight at the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C.
They walked the red carpet yesterday coming into the hotel, and now they've got their own suite, and they're just enjoying life before they go see the president.
All right. The First Lady expected to take part in this annual tradition. The birds got their names after the First Lady asked people to vote on a short list of possible selections, and that's what they came up with.
They've been handled quite a bit, a little more than what we do with our normal turkeys that go through our company, but these guys have been getting the special treatment, and they're going to perform just great, I think.
Yeah, and they'll get the special treatment afterwards because they won't be killed for a Thanksgiving meal. They'll be pardoned by the president.
These turkeys will go back to North Carolina, go back home, and they'll live out their lives at North Carolina State University.
Yeah, and Travis Pittman, he's the one who's going to take care of these turkeys.
They have nutritionists that are hired to provide them the best quality feed to raise these birds healthy and strong.
All right, and for those of us who do eat turkey and don't pardon them, just in time for Thanksgiving, Heinz is out with a turkey gravy in a squeeze bottle.
The company says the launch was inspired by Friend's famous Moist Maker sandwich. The new squeezable gravy is made for Thanksgiving leftovers and comes in a kit that can be ordered online. The Heinz Leftover Gravy Kit includes a squeezable bottle of its classic turkey gravy and a recipe card for preparing what's being billed as the ultimate Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. Details on the limited edition kit are available at walmart.com. I'm Mark Mayfield.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 25th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sun and clouds this morning. Showers this afternoon, high 54. Tonight and overnight rain, low 53, and then Wednesday we'll have rain in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, but awfully mild, the high 62. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are, 42 cloudy in Babylon out on Long Island. It's 34 and cloudy in Woodridge over in New Jersey, and it's 38 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:39. Advocates, officials raising a lot of questions this morning after the city confirmed it recently located 68 boxes of 9/11 toxin-related documents last Tuesday. Now, they just started to look through what's inside some of these boxes, but what we're hearing is that the city may have known just how toxic the air was down at the 9/11 site in the days and weeks after the 9/11 attacks. So, of course, everybody wants to know exactly what this is about and why the average person on the street or the people who were working the pile in the days and weeks afterwards were not warned about that. The head of the firefighters union, he spoke out yesterday.
That message was suppressed. They had real testing done, and when that testing was done, it was suppressed, and everyone was told the air was safe. People would have made different choices. We really need to know who lied then and who kept this lie, alive.
Yeah, this is a huge story. So the 22 of the 68 boxes have been opened right now, and it's unclear when we'll be able to see the rest. But what's really not clear is who knew this information and why this information wasn't given out to the people who were working and living downtown at the time. Of course, I don't have to tell you how many people have died of 9/11 related cancers since the 9/11 attacks and are continuing to. 541, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani has appointed more than 400 people to 17 transition committees that'll help with his transition to City Hall. The committee, they cover housing, transportation, community safety, economic development. It goes on, including immigrant justice, technology.
I feel an immense sense of opportunity. An opportunity in this moment to build a new kind of politics. And that opportunity is one to reinvent the city that we love.
Mayor Mamdani, Mayor-elect, I should say, Mamdani, says that there'll be new committees on things like worker justice and community organizing. The transition team together brings people who are advocates or have worked in things like homeless outreach. The mayor says he has fielded more than 70,000 resumes from people who want to work with his administration. So part of what this transition team will do is look through those resumes as well. One of the people joining the mayor-elect's transition committee is Bhairavi Desai. You may know that name. She's head of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance.
I have hope. I have hope that the New York we love will love its workers in return. Because New York City has elected a mayor who stands for the working class.
One of our own, Rabbi Joe Potasnik, he'll be on the Committee on Emergency Response, part of this transition team. And while he was making these announcements yesterday, the mayor, the reporters kept asking him about that meeting in Washington on Friday with President Trump, where he met with the president for about 25 minutes. They seemed to get along pretty well. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
I made the case for delivering on the foremost crisis in New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living crisis. And I was heartened to hear President Trump share in the pool afterwards that he was looking to help this city, not to hurt it.
Yeah, but the mayor-elect also then doubled down during a Sunday interview on Meet the Press that he still thought the president was a fascist. 543, Hudson Valley Congressman Mike Lawler giving his endorsement to Congresswoman Elise Stefanik for governor yesterday. So I guess it won't go to Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman if he decides to run. Here was Lawler at a press conference in the Hudson Valley yesterday.
Elise has proven time and again that she should not be underestimated.
And Stefanik made her case on affordability during this press conference yesterday. She says that'll be one of the central themes of her campaign.
Under Kathy Hochul's failed leadership, New York is the most unaffordable state in the nation, with the highest taxes, highest utility bills, highest energy prices, highest insurance prices. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, I imagine Stefanik will try to collect more endorsements as she waits to see when and if Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman jumps into the race as a Republican against her for governor next year. 544. Let's go up to Washington Heights, where police arrested a man accused of fatally stabbing an 80-year-old inside his Washington Heights apartment early Monday morning. Lev Vayner was discovered inside an apartment on Overlook Terrace around 3 a.m. He was stabbed in the neck and abdomen, pronounced dead at the scene. Neighbors knew the senior well. He was one of these people that was just a fixture in the building.
He's a very generous guy. He was always out here hanging out, offering me cigarettes and wanting to tell me about his time in the Russian army.
He helped everyone in the building. He was very friendly with everyone.
And so police say the person who stabbed him, 45-year-old Alon Ryabachev, who apparently was the one who called police to say that he had committed the crime. He had been kicked out of his apartment in this building and had been living in the hallways, and Lev had felt sorry for him, so he took him in, even against the family's wishes. Here were people who knew the alleged stabber well.
The whole building felt bad for this guy because, we all knew him. And when stuff started going down with his mom, you had to walk by him every day. So I can't believe he the guy was suffering, and he's lived here for a long time. You don't want to just kick him out in the street right away, but at the same time, like, you saw he was sliding downhill pretty fast.
Yeah, Ryabachev had 5 previous arrests, with the most recent one being in 2008. 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noah Maladen. Start out here in Brooklyn. Karl Anthony Towns had 37 and 12. Jalen Brunson scored 27, and the Knicks beat the Nets 113-100 at the Barclays Center. Towns shot 14 for 20 from the field and made each of his 6 free throws to lead the Knicks to their 12th consecutive victory over Brooklyn. New York's last loss to the Nets was in January 2023. Mikal Bridges finished with 16 points, and Jordan Clarkson added 12 off the bench for the Knicks. New York shot 45 for 88 from the field, while limiting Brooklyn to 33 for 87 shooting. Noah Clowney scored a career-high 31 points, and Michael Porter Jr. had 16 for Brooklyn, who are 0-8 now at the Barclays Center this season. Up next for the Knicks, they'll be in Charlotte tomorrow night, while the Nets are off until Friday, when they're set to host Philadelphia. Head to the ice at the Garden. Alexis Lafreniere scored the go-ahead goal early in the third period, and Igor Shesterkin made 19 saves as the Rangers snapped a 4-game skid with a 3-2 win over the St. Louis Blues. Vincent Trocheck and Adam Edstrom also scored for the Rangers, who won for just the second time in 10 home games. They are 2-7-1 at Madison Square Garden. Vladislav Gavrikov and Adam Fox each had 2 assists. The Rangers, who played without injured captain JT Miller for the second straight game, are still last in the Metropolitan Division. Up next for them, they'll play at Carolina tomorrow night. In Jersey, Nico Hischier, Timo Meyer, and Connor Brown had a goal and an assist each, and the Devils beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-3 in a matchup of 2 of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. Jersey scored 3 goals in the first period on just 8 shots for a 3-1 lead after one snapped a 3-game losing streak and got its first win in regulation since beating the LA Kings 4-1 on November 1st. The Devils' previous 4 wins occurred in either overtime or a shootout. New Jersey's Jacob Markstrom made 32 saves, 13 in the third period en route to the win. Up next for the Devs, they'll host the aforementioned Blues tomorrow night. And Week 12 in the NFL wrapped up, last night in San Francisco. 49ers beat up on the Panthers 20-9. San Fran now sits at 8-4. Carolina leaves San Francisco at an even 6-6. That's your Sports Gnome, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49. A man found floating in the waters off Coney Island early Monday morning died at a hospital. The NYPD says the call came in. It was about 7:30 a.m. yesterday from people who were walking on the boardwalk and saw the man in the water.
You would never think such a beautiful place. This is my place of peace.
That's scary.
It's really horrible. It's sad. It's just so sad.
A maintenance worker says that a fisherman was the first to notice the body near the rocks. He told security. They called 911. FDNY crews pulled the man between the jetty rocks, brought him up to the boardwalk. They tried to do life-saving measures before taking him to an ambulance and then to the hospital. He died at Coney Island Hospital a short time later.
That's pretty young. You know, he haven't even lived fully yet.
I don't go in the water. Unless there's a lifeguard, I don't go in the water.
Yeah, what police are telling us is the man was likely in his young 30s. The medical examiner now working to determine how he died. That Dine and Dasher, remember that woman we told you about who's been eating at all kinds of high-price restaurants in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and then she doesn't do the dashing part. She just does the dining part. So the check comes, and she goes, sorry, don't have the money. And they threaten to call the police, and she says, go ahead. And then they come and arrest her. Well, she apparently is behind bars at Rikers Island this morning. It's 34-year-old Pei Chung. She's being held on $4,500 cash bail. Prosecutors say she appeared in court for the latest theft of service. She allegedly struck at Mole Restaurant. That's that one on Kent Avenue in Brooklyn. This was Friday afternoon. Same thing. She ordered up all kinds of food. And even though people are passing around her picture and have been because she's done this at least a dozen restaurants, allegedly so, the people, not everybody sees the picture. So she showed up, ate an entire meal at Mole, refused to pay. Prosecutors and police had enough. They took her to jail. And she's also fighting some prior arrests and court records that show she owes about $40,000 in back rent for her Williamsburg apartment. There's clearly something wrong with her, but enough is enough. She's now behind bars at Rikers Island. 551, prosecutors out on Long Island say they've dismantled a sophisticated porch pirate criminal organization that allegedly stole FedEx packages containing electronic devices, things like cell phones. 14 people indicted in connection with this alleged theft ring. The 2-year investigation uncovered 48 alleged pattern acts of theft that targeted these FedEx packages. Listen to how sophisticated this thing was. So the enterprise is accused of hacking into delivery systems to set up cell phone deliveries under fake names, then using random addresses as convenient drop-off points. And the people who lived in these homes had no idea the packages were coming to their house, but people would wait till the packages arrive, because you can see when they're going to, and then grab the boxes and then bring them back to the Bronx. That's really sophisticated. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney here.
This is, sort of a sprawling conspiracy. We charged these 14 individuals. We're prepared to go forward with our case.
Now, you think the people are this smart. Why not just get a regular job? I mean, it sounds like you might be able to get a good one. They were able to hack into something. The alleged porch pirates included a network of runners who retrieved the packages, while other defendants were allegedly involved in the wholesale redistribution of these stolen devices. In one instance, a defendant's accused of forcibly taking a package from an elderly woman whose residence was being used for these deliveries.
Individuals who were reselling the phones, they would have to have a degree of sophistication to know how to unlock the phones. Once they're unlocked and being able to be utilized, they would be literally untraceable by law enforcement.
I mean, this is amazing. So these were not idiots. I mean, they were idiots, I guess, in that they got caught and were doing something illegal, but they were able to hack into the system and figure out how to get the phones going. They stole from Verizon and AT&T. FedEx now commenting, saying they did not know, of course, this was going on. And then they would bring these phones back to a stash house in the Bronx, where law enforcement raided the stash house. They found 200 new cell phones, other electronic devices, and about $100,000 in cash. Wow. 554. Did you take part in Gotham FC's championship parade that was held Monday at City Hall, a ceremony for the National Women's Soccer League team that won a championship win over the weekend?
You have the New York City grit, resiliency, and determination. You have inspired thousands of soccer fans and young girls and boys to believe in themselves.
That was the mayor at a ceremony outside City Hall yesterday. He did hear some boos among the packed crowd at City Hall before handing over the keys of the city to the team. Lots of fans showing up.
You don't win when you worry about the haters. You win when you stay dedicated to the mission.
Yeah, that was him responding to the boos yesterday. One of the stars of the team, Rose Lavelle, thanked fans at the ceremony for showing up.
It is such an honor to be able to represent the New York, New Jersey sports market. I think it's such a special thing to be a part of and something we don't take lightly at all. So thank you guys so much for believing in us.
Now, I know some sports fans would poo-poo this because they'll say it's women's soccer, nobody's watching, but they brought home a championship. Name another New York team that has done that recently. The only other one was the Liberty, another women's team, a basketball team, of course, from Brooklyn. They brought home the championship last year. As you dig into all the comfort foods this Thanksgiving, maybe you'll want to think twice about doing so.
Many of you can't wait for Thanksgiving to stuff your face with stuffing, sweet potatoes, desserts. Dr. Uma Naidu is a nutritional psychiatrist.
When we think comfort food, we don't see people reaching out for broccoli.
You can say that again. She tells CBS News that the sugar found in many comfort foods hits our brains in the same spot that illegal drugs do.
And sugar is almost more powerful in certain studies than cocaine. When someone tells me that they're addicted to sugar, I do take them seriously.
So there you have it, some food for thought. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
Yeah, I'm not thinking anything healthy when I sit down to the Thanksgiving table on Thursday. And we'll end with the Saks Fifth Avenue Holiday Lights Show. Remember last year they canceled it, the flagship store on Fifth Avenue. They did not do this show last year, and they blamed a whole bunch of things. things, the economy, that kind of thing. But last night, they flipped the switch. 7 o'clock last night, lighting up the block between East 49th and 50th Street for a campaign they titled Holiday Your Way. And it looks like a really amazing light show this year.
It was awesome. First time we've ever seen it. It was amazing.
I really liked it. It was really cool with all the lights and stuff.
Light show takes place every 10 minutes from 5 at night till 11 at night, nightly through January. All kinds of people from all over the country came for the kickoff yesterday.
Where are you coming from? Cleveland, Ohio. From London. That was amazing. We don't have anything like this.
Yeah, I bet you don't. Last year, in what appeared to be a cost-cutting move, Saks shocked New Yorkers when it said it was ending the light show after 2 decades to focus on its holiday windows and fashion instead. But they've rethought it. So now you had tourists who waited for hours last night for a front row seat to see the debut.
Last year they canceled it, and so we have been waiting for a whole year anticipating it coming back, and it did. So we drove 22 hours to get here.
Now, I saw video of it from last night. It does look like it's very cool. Saks also unveiled their windows, their holiday windows last night.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?